Okay, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, depending on where you are in the world. I am James from the DoraHacks operations team, and I'm delighted to be here with Adithya from Reclaim Protocol. I can see we've got some comments coming in already. That's good to see. This is the second business workshop. We've got a series of workshops with Xion for the Believathon, which is currently live now on DoraHacks. So you can check out the comments below or in the chat box where we'll be sharing the link for that. The Believathon is already live, and we've got just under 2 weeks left for your submissions. So go ahead and check over the hackathon page. And then we've got these workshops to help you in figuring out how you're going to submit your project and everything you've been working on. So just a quick recap, there's 40K USD total in the prize pool. A lot of that as pre-seed funding and up to 10K per project. So as well as that, there's access to the accelerator program with Xion. So there's a huge opportunity to get involved with one of the quickest growing L1 ecosystems in the space if you're a founder or developer out there. So definitely check out the hackathon. Today, Adithya is going to be talking about an introduction to Zktls and integration with Reclaim Protocol and a bit more, I think. So I will get out the way, but any comments you've got while Adithya is talking, feel free to stick them in the comments section, and we'll ask him at the end or maybe halfway through if there's a good opportunity for that. And yeah, please get involved, and I will leave it up to you. So the floor is yours, Adithya.
Yep. So, hey chat, super excited to be here. What's up?
So yeah, your whiteboard's disappeared. You're going to get that back in a second.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that back up in a second.
All right.
Just gonna give them an intro. So hey guys, I am Adithya. I basically lead growth at Reclaim Protocol. So maybe say I'm a bit of a technical person as well, because I love to get technical. I love technology as well. So I would love to get your comments down in the chat. Like, how many of you have heard of Zktls? It is a buzzword right now. So I don't know how many guys are familiar with this. So we are super excited to kind of, is there anybody in the chat that has heard about it? Okay, I think the chat's a little bit shy. Let me actually kind of just, we'll do a little bit of a small session where I kind of just talk to you about what Zktls is, what it enables for you. So yep, I think my screen should be visible. Okay. Also, I'm super sorry that we couldn't get the resolution and running properly. So let's kind of dive straight into it. So Zktls. So let's actually try to understand the word itself by kind of breaking it down into two. One word will be ZK and the other will be Zktls. So I don't know if you guys have done it, but whenever you copy a link, the first thing that you might notice or read is http://. So HTTP itself is very insecure, and S is the factor that adds the security to it. So basically what that means is TLS, which is transport layer security, is the security layer for HTTP. So what we do is this data, if you ever want to share maybe a third-party application, what kind of ends up happening is you can easily spoof the data. You can easily that data. You can edit the data to be anything you want. So that is where this ZK part comes in, where while sharing to the third-party application, you also say that, hey, this data is actually coming from the right website, and it's also it has edited with. So this is where the term Zktls kind of comes into. So to be very fair, there are actually Zktls flavors out there in the market today. So the first one would be a TE setup, which is a trusted executive environment, and then you have C model, which is multi-party computation, and then you have the proxy model. So we are primarily going to be talking about the proxy model because what Reclaim kind of uses. So let's dive into what the proxy model is and why it's very performant and has no security. So what ends up happening between a client and a server, whatever request, so let's call this, and this guy, let him be the user. So usually you send a request. So imagine you want data from github.com, you send a request to the server and you get a response back. So I'm just marking this as encrypted response and encrypted request, because once you know the right website, it automatically starts the encryption process. This is how normal kind of setup kind of happens. And now reclaim kind of comes into play. So reclaim is basically going to come where hey guys, am I back? I think my internet was pretty shitty and kind of left me hanging over there. Okay, so let's kind of jump straight back into it. So reclaim acts as an opaque proxy in the middle. So what does an opaque proxy mean? A proxy in itself, all it does is forward data like from one point to another point. So why we say opaque proxy in particular is because it never gets access to your private data. It only gets access to the encrypted data. So that is one of the very privacy preserving factors that we kind of take into play, because we never have access to any of the data. And then once you get the response, what happens on the client side is we kind of have a ZK circuit. So our SDK is a web view. So I'll show you guys a demo later. Like we have a web view where there's basically a ZK circuit, which kind of takes in 3 inputs. So one of them is going to be the encrypted response. Another one is going to be the OAuth tokens. And we also are going to have a JSON path as a response. This JSON path is probably the most confusing because it doesn't make sense. So what that JSON path is, we have a developer portal where you could basically come on and configure data providers to whichever data points you want on any website. So for example, like examples could be maybe your GitHub repositories that you have, your contributions in the last year, or a provider that probably has all of that information into one. So we kind of tell the ZK circuit on, hey, this is where you're supposed to be looking. So what that is going to basically give out is a zero knowledge proof. So it's going to give out a ZKP, and it's also going to give out the raw data itself. So whatever data it is that the user wants to share with the third-party application, it gives them the raw data along with the zero knowledge proof that tells him, hey, this data is actually coming from the right website. This data has not been edited. And we also generate a proof that says that, hey, this encrypted block I was decrypted using this session key, but I'm not going to show you the session key itself. So once that is there, we reclaim kind of just signs it off, and this sends it to the third-party application. So this is on a high level how reclaim kind of works. So now I would love to kind of jump in and kind of show you that, okay, so like if you go to any other of the protocols out there, like Zktls protocols, it wouldn't be this easy to make a data provider. And I'm going to show you guys how easy it is to make a data provider for any website in under 10 minutes or so. And just for context, I am a non-developer person myself. So if I can make one, you guys can definitely make one. So yep, I am going to start sharing my screen now. Cool. I think my screen is being shared. Okay, cool, guys. So let's get started. So the first thing that I want you guys to do is kind of head over to dev.reclaimprotocol.org, and you can navigate your way through here. You just have to log in and you're going to be taken to this landing page. So what I want you to do is just kind of explore the providers that we have already. So we have a Gmail account provider, you have a Uber ID provider, you have GitHub username, which is being used by almost 200 applications in production. You have LinkedIn user profile details provider. You have one for Venmo. You have Eventbrite. So any of the even airline data is something that we also have. So you can check you can prove your miles on any of the airlines that I mentioned over here. So we have all of these data providers live. So if you guys want a custom provider and you want to build one yourself, or you just want to see how the process is to build one yourself, all you have to do is head over to My Providers and click on New Provider. Okay, so what this is going to do is it's going to it's just going to show you a copy that basically says, hey, build providers with Reclaim Protocol, download the Reclaim Protocol app, and enter the session ID below. So what you are going to have to do is download an app called as Reclaim DevTool. So note, this app is only for for a developer. The end user would never have to use it. We rely on an app clip and an instant app solution, which means that basically the user wouldn't need to download any sort of app clip or any sort of application or an extension. Okay, so once you are you enter your session ID, you are basically going to enter the URL of where you want data from. Let me kind of see if I can press send to my entire screen. 1 second. Sorry for that, guys. Okay, cool. So this is my Kaggle account, and Kaggle itself does not expose an API. So we are gonna see if I can get my username from Kaggle. So that's the objective for today. And what I'm gonna do is now, since I have the entire app downloaded, and I already entered the session ID, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy and paste this link in the dev tool over here. And it's going to take me a while to just kind of log into my account. So at this point, I am just logging into my Kaggle account, post which I will tell you what the developer tool kind of does. So if you have any questions, chat, super happy to answer them along the way. Okay, so I have logged onto my Kaggle account, and I am in my profile page. I've navigated automatically to my profile page, and basically whenever you go on here and you kind of click on your network requests, and you maybe click on Adithya Legion. Let's kind of refresh this. So basically, we're looking for this data, and what the dev tool kind of does is it gets all of this data in it. So here you can see the same request that's kind of being there, and here we are going to search for my username, which is Adithya Legion. So I'm just okay. So I'm just going to click on the first API response that I got, and I'm going to search for whatever data it is that I want here. So it automatically kind of selected that data for me. So I'm just going to click on it, and I'm going to be like, this is my user name, Kaggle. And I'm going to click on add. And you can also add any other data point as well. If you want, you could add your name as well. Full name. Okay, so I have my full name, and I also have my username on here. So now you guys can add as many data provider, like as many points as you want. We're also implementing a feature where it automatically kind of selects all the important data points for you guys by default. Okay, so now let's come to the customizing of the URL part. So basically there are two URLs, right? So there's a dynamic one and there's a static one. So static URLs means that it is probably like not going to change. It just stays the way that it is. Dynamic URLs, in the sense, it changes. So for example, the GitHub username. So the GitHub link, which has is like github.com/your username, whatever it is. So that changes for each and everybody. So that URL is dynamic. And you would need to use the developer tool to kind of set parts of the URL which are dynamic into a URL param. So if you find any within this link that is dynamic, which in this case it's not, you could just click on it and it would just make it like a dynamic parameter. And once you're done with that, you can just click on next and you can put in your login URL. So here I am just gonna make this my login URL. Okay, cool. And I also have an option to kind of turn geolocation on. So for example, if I'm using an app that's native to only one country, for example, Bank of America in America, Aadhaar is only available in India. So if there's any geo restriction like that, you can just go on here and kind of add a geo restriction over here. So yep, so that's also something that you can do. Just for now we'll just keep it as none because it's available almost everywhere. And you could just maybe kind of skim across all the regex and the JSON path of the data that's being in. So this is the regex or the JSON that kind of is sent as an input towards the Zk circuit. So you can just check all of it up, just make sure everything is right. And I feel like it is right. You generally wouldn't need to check all this because it's automatically going to be correct. Just in case if you want to check it out, you can check it out. So JS suggestions. So if you want to make the flow kind of automatic in a way where you wouldn't need like the user to like manually navigate to that profile portion, you could just add a JS suggestion that kind of, hey, like automatically, like once he's logged in, it kind of clicks it and just goes to their expected URL. You could do that, but it is subjected to an admin approval, which means that one of the admins, which is like either me or my team, you would need to approve it. So once that is done, all you have to do is you can test the provider. So let me just bring my iPad onto the screen here. Okay. Just gonna stop sharing my iPad. Just gonna try to pick up my phone. Okay, I hope, let me just go ahead and see if my phone's visible. Okay, super cool, it's visible. So just right now, I'm just gonna delete that I have a verifier app, like downloaded on my phone. So that means that I have no apps running on my phone that's reclaimed except the developer tools. This is just for from a developer perspective. You wouldn't need the end user to download it. So I'm just gonna scan this QR using like a normal camera or a QR scanner. And it's basically going to open up this page where it says that, hey, this app test is requesting data from Kaggle. What do I need to do? Go to your Kaggle account, go to the place where your username and display name is located. Privacy. This data is never seen by third-party application and reclaim protocol. So once you click on continue on app clip, it brings up this pop-up. So one key thing to note here is I don't have an app installed, and it never tells me to install anything. It only tells me to open it. So I'm going to open up the app. The app is basically a web view where you can just go ahead and kind of, it goes to the target URL which you have configured in your data provider. So once that is there, I'm just going to sign in. And once I'm signed in, I am going to go to my profile and it's automatically going to fetch that data for us. So if you kind of saw kind of what happened there, it explicitly showed what data it was sharing, which in this case was my username and my display name. So this data, so this is the JSON that gets shared with the third-party application. So you have the raw data as well, and also you have the proof identifier, you have the nonce, you have the claim data, and you also have like the witness signatures. So everything that you need to kind of check, it's already on there. And one cool thing that you can do post this is you can also put this proof on chain. So what you can do is you can basically put all of this data and actually verify it on chain as well. So we have contracts that are we have contracts that are deployed on almost every chain out there. So you can just go on and kind of put this proof on chain. So on chain, we do a signature verification, not a proof verification, just because a proof verification would take a shit ton of time and it would not at all be gas efficient. So we have opted for signature verification. So yeah, so this is kind of how you guys kind of do it. So now let's actually talk about how you create an application as well. So you could just go on to your go back to the dev tool again, click on my apps, click on create new app. So you can make 4 kinds of application. You can make a mobile app. So why mobile app, and like a difference between the mobile app and the web app is we have a much more customized flow for our native apps. So if you're running React Native, Flutter, Swift, or any of the programming languages that I just mentioned, the flow is much more easier. So there is no there's no copy page and there is no app clip. So it's an in-app SDK. So it kind of opens up a web view within your own application itself. So the flow is 10 times better. So you have that, you have the web app, which is the one that we're going to use right now. So Zktls is basically a wrapper of the attester, of the proxy that we're using, that basically proves public data is actually coming from xyz.com, from correct xyz.com and not fake xyz.com. Reclaim OAuth is an OAuth basically that enables you to capture information in the beginning itself. So imagine you're building out like a chess ecosystem out there. So you don't want people to kind of do a Google Auth coming in. You kind of want them to do the chess.com login. So that's something that you can maybe do with it. And also via that login, you can also kind of get his entire profile data and populate his screens as if that is his new kind of application that he's going to be using. So this would make a lot of sense if you're building like a competitor to an already existing application. You could use it to populate the area as well. So for now, we're just going to make a web app. So I'm just going to call it as testing, and let's kind of put this cute little guy as the app logo. And over here, I'm just going to put one of the providers. Let's put a GitHub provider. Let's go Kaggle as well. Okay. So we have 2 providers. So you can add n number of providers on it. So I just added a linking provider as well. And once you click on next, you are going to get your application ID and your application secret. So all you kind of have to do is it's already there. So all you have to do is this is just a React component where you just have to copy and paste this code and basically it'll run on its own. And if you want to call the proofs on verification success, you could maybe have your front end part kind of show the proofs, show what data there is that needs to be kind of shown on proof. So it will be claim data .message whatever it is. You could also maybe console log a lot of the proofs if you want to just use it for testing. So yep, so this is just a normal simple React function where it also has a QR code which generates on a desktop view. So the flow right now is entirely mobile. So copying this code and putting it in would just make it work on the fly. So yeah, so this is kind of 0 to 100 on Zktls and Reclaim protocol. To be very honest, I personally do not think there are solutions out there that enable you to kind of make a data provider this quickly and kind of ship it all up in under 10 to 15 minutes. So yeah, I'm super excited for you guys to kind of go ahead and try this. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, I would love to answer them in the chat. And I also hope that it was pretty exciting and I explained it pretty well as well.
Hey, Hey, man. Yeah, good. A couple of moments where we lost connection, but otherwise it was good. I think you backtraced to cover what we may have missed, so it was all good.
Thank God, dude. Thank God. Yeah, network's pretty crazy right now. Yeah, super thankful for you to have me, man. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
It's so good. It's really important that we do these workshops so that people can kind of speak with the team and the other partners as well to make sure they know exactly what they need to submit and how they can integrate and everything. So super useful. Thanks for taking the time. Let's just give everyone a couple of minutes
Absolutely.
or a minute or so, see if there's any live questions for you here. But if not, then everyone in the audience, and if you're watching this on catch up, then again, thanks for tuning in, and you can leave your comments in the comment section, or you can contact the team directly. There's a Discord link available. You can contact DoraHacks at DoraHacks Official on Telegram, and we can pass your questions on, or if they're to do with the platform, then we'll be able to answer them ourselves. I think we've lost Adithya from his internet connection again. Money Long wants to work in Xion. We'll reach out to the team and see if they have any open positions, but any questions related to the workshop today would be great. Otherwise, we'll wrap this up and then make sure you tune in for the next workshops. You can find on the DoraHacks hackathon page for the Xion Believathon, you can add all of the workshops to your Google Calendar so you don't miss a single one. So recommend heading over to the link that we've got in the comments, and you can add that to your calendar there. Are you back? I think you just froze. You froze for a couple of minutes there. You're back now, yeah? I can hear you. Yeah, all good.
Yeah, but I heard exactly what you said. And yeah, let's work. Let's sit here a couple of minutes and kind of see questions that people might want to ask. Super excited again to get an answer it for them as well.
Sure. Quite often people are tuning in later because this will be available on YouTube. So if you're tuning in after, then you can reach out. Maybe you won't always have live questions, but let's give it another 30 seconds or so.
Absolutely.
And then just a quick recap. Just to clarify, we've got just under 2 weeks left for the Believathon, 40K in the prize pool with a maximum of 10K per project, but there's also exposure to all of the VCs that we've got in the Xion network and their accelerator program as well. So it's such an awesome opportunity if you're building something new, pre-seed kind of stage, or if you're earlier on developing, then definitely check out the hackathon. Xion's one of the coolest L1s to be growing at the moment. So getting involved now would be a great opportunity to meet, be a part of that ecosystem. And I'm just looking at the judging panel now. It's an awesome all-star crew, as it says, of some of the top team members from Xion and other projects as well. So it's super cool. All right, it doesn't look like we're getting any more live questions now, but again, we'll keep an eye on the comments after the chat, and then if not, reach out through Discord or through Telegram to either me or the Reclaim team or to Xion as well. We'll be happy to answer your questions. Thanks, Adithya. Let's leave it here.
What's up, dude? I didn't catch the last bit of what you kind of mentioned.
I've just told everyone that I don't think we're getting any more live questions here, so we'll just call it a day now, and then any questions they can reach out afterwards and get them answered.
Yeah, for sure. We also have a very helpful community in our Telegram, so feel free to come and kind of ask any question, and you will find just blabbering up about it as well. So yeah, awesome. I had a bunch of fun. Yeah, thanks for having me, James. Yep.
Yeah, thanks for your time today, Adithya, and we'll keep in touch. Bye-bye.
Yep. Cool. Bye-bye.